December 3rd, 2014. For most people, it was just another warm summer evening in South Africa. But for the tight-knit community of Skukuza, deep within the Kruger National Park, it would become a night that would forever change how they saw the wilderness they called home. This is not a story about recklessness. It is not a story about ignorance. It is a story about familiarity. About growing up surrounded by nature so powerful and so constant that its danger can quietly fade into the background of everyday life. And it is the story of one young man, one decision, and a reminder that the wild is never tamed, only respected. Skukuza is not just a rest camp, it is home. For generations, staff families have lived, worked, and raised children within the boundaries of the Kruger National Park. Children here grow up hearing lions at night, seeing elephants on their way to school, and learning from a young age how to coexist with animals most people only ever see on television. This upbringing creates something unique, a deep respect for wildlife, but sometimes also a dangerous familiarity. On that December evening, a group of younger staff members and friends gathered at one of the few social spaces available to them, the Skukuza Golf Course. After a long, hot day of work, this was one of the few places where staff could relax, have a drink, and enjoy each other's company. The clubhouse overlooked the 9th hole, one of the most visually striking parts of the course. The green sat against the edge of a dam, with water bordering almost half of it. At night, the surface lay dark and still, giving little indication of what lived beneath it. A narrow bridge crossed the water, roughly 13 meters long and just over 2 meters wide, providing golfers with access to the green. It was a feature people admired, a place people lingered, and it was the last place anyone expected a tragedy to unfold. Among the group that night was Jacques van der Sandt. Jacques had grown up in the Kruger National Park. He understood wildlife and had experience fishing the rivers for tigerfish, fully aware of the dangers hidden in the water. At the time, he was visiting his parents while on vacation. Jacques was no stranger to danger. He was a Class II commercial diver, working on oil rigs, often operating in extreme conditions, deep underwater, where mistakes can cost lives. Water did not intimidate him. He trusted his skills, and perhaps unknowingly, he trusted the environment a little too much. At around 11 p.m., Jacques and a few friends decided to jump off the bridge. They swam underneath it and climbed out on the side near the green. The swim was roughly 12 meters. Some reports would later suggest that this was not the first time Jacques had done this. To outsiders, it might sound unthinkable. To those who grew up there, it was just another night, another familiar place, another familiar dam. Jacques was just about to climb out of the water. Then someone noticed something, a movement, a shape in the darkness. And before anyone could react, a crocodile lunged. In an instant, its jaws clamped onto Jacques' side. There was no warning, no time to react. Jacques was dragged violently underwater and disappeared before the eyes of everyone watching. The dam went silent. Shock froze the crowd, and then chaos erupted. People ran, phones were pulled out. The Skukuza head ranger was alerted immediately. Word spread rapidly through the community. Within minutes, staff arrived from multiple departments: anti-poaching units, veterinary services, police, conservation officers. Some of the most experienced and respected individuals in the Kruger National Park were suddenly standing in the dark, knowing exactly what they were dealing with. They understood something crucial. The noise and commotion near the attack site would drive the crocodile away towards quieter, calmer water. And so, the search began. One experienced ranger, along with 2 other staff members, made a critical decision. They moved away from the noise. They walked the perimeter of the dam toward hole 1 of the golf course, approximately 314 meters from where the attack occurred. The night there was different. Still, silent. Most of the green was surrounded by water, forming a narrow channel fed by Lake Panic, the much larger body of water to the north. If a predator wanted to hide, this would be the place. There, in the small channel, they saw it, a large crocodile, and in its jaws, Jacques. The crocodile was moving slowly and deliberately, making its way towards shallower water near Hole 2. This is typical behavior. Shallow water offers control, safety, a place to feed. The ranger raised his rifle. A single gunshot shattered the silence. The crocodile immediately released its grip, dropping Jacques' body, and retreated into deeper water. The men rushed forward. Despite the speed of the response, Jacques was deceased. Remarkably, there were only puncture wounds from the crocodile's teeth. No dismemberment, no tearing. The cause of death was drowning, dragged under, held down, unable to escape. As the men stood there, processing what had just happened, they heard reeds moving. A hiss. The crocodile was returning. It emerged from the water only meters away. Its mouth was open. The first shot had damaged its jaw. It could no longer close it properly. This time, there was no hesitation. The crocodile was shot and killed. Senior rangers later described Jacques' recovery as nothing short of a miracle. Crocodiles often hide their prey in underwater nests, returning later to feed. Many victims are never found. Families are left without closure. That night, against the odds, Jacques was brought back. The tragedy sent shockwaves through Skukuza. It became a harsh reminder to a community deeply connected to the wild. Familiarity does not mean safety. The bush does not forgive complacency. If you found this story meaningful, please consider liking and subscribing. These stories matter, not for shock value, but for the lessons they leave behind.